Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So today we have a leg day, but we're gonna continue down the trend of lifting like an ego lifter. I'm actually very excited to show you a couple of stuff today, because specifically the leg press. So we're gonna get to that in a sec. So we're gonna begin the day with hamstring curls. We're obviously gonna do the full stack because we're ego lifting. So that's 102 and a half kilos. That's the stack. We're gonna rep that out. The reason I like to do hamstring curls first is just because my knees feel a lot better when I go and do quads after, especially if I'm gonna do like a leg press or a squat movement. I would like my knees to be warmed up for that first. It just feels a lot better. There isn't really any other reasons other than that, there aren't really any other reasons. But yeah, look, a couple of interesting stuff. So I was meant to do a leg day yesterday, but it turns out if you're gonna lift that heavy, like an ego lifter, you need time to rest in between sessions. Because it's like, if I was gonna do legs yesterday and I was gonna do, well, I already did back, chest, and then legs straight away, there's no way that workout would have been a good workout, because my CNS, my nervous system was flatlined, like quite literally, from lifting all that weight. And yeah, even though we haven't done anything for legs in those 2 days, it would still be too much. So you need to rest if you're gonna lift like that. That's one thing. I wouldn't recommend you lift like that. It's not as optimal, because this is the thing, it causes so much fatigue. The recovery period is gonna have to be adjusted. So you're gonna have to rest more often throughout the week, which is obviously not good news for your weekly volume, which is pretty much the only metric that drives hypertrophy, your weekly volume. So we're gonna start the first set, 102 and a half kilos. We're gonna rep that one out. Obviously, again, going down the trend of ego lifting, we're not gonna pay too much attention on the eccentric. We're not really gonna lock stuff out. This is just us doing the best we can to move as much weight as possible. And I'm really excited to show you the leg press, because I am a bit concerned about the leg press, because I don't know how much weight I can actually put on the actual machine. And I'm not talking about me, like I can move a lot of weight. I'm talking about the machine itself. You'll see what I mean in a sec. Let's do the first 3 sets here to get that out of the way, and then move over there and start the fun part. Before we continue, before we get to the fun stuff with the leg press. So, no drop sets. 102 and a half kilos is going to be for the final set too. So let's do this. Fucking hell. Do you know what? I have to say, when you lift like that, the sets are very short, and I'm not really used to it. I feel like I'm not doing enough, although I'm doing the reps. It doesn't take enough time, and I'm feeling like I'm not getting the most out of it, and I guess I'm not, right? Because it's like time under tension is a very real thing when you try to get big. So you need to control both the eccentric and the concentric, and we're only really focusing on the concentric here. The eccentric, we just let it go completely, right? It's not optimal, but that's how ego lifters lift, because if you were going to control the eccentric, it's very hard to ego lift. Do you know what I mean? If you were to do it properly, and if you were to pay attention on both the phases, it would be extremely hard to do to ego lift, right? So, with that being said, and just because today we're ego lifting again, we're done here. 3 sets, 102.5 kilos. It was around 8 to 10 reps per set. It's a good amount of reps, plus a couple of partials, so it's a good amount of reps, but again, I just felt like this was going way too quick, and it's probably going to be self-evident in the videos too. Now, we are going to do leg press. I want to show you the difference between actual leg press, like how you should do it if your goal is size, and how I'm going to do it now as an ego lifter, and how people usually do it. In general, even if they don't ego lift, the range of motion on the leg press it's half of what it should be for most people. And I can't understand why, but that's besides the point. Look, we're gonna get there. I'm just gonna warm up with a couple of sets. I'm not gonna put a lot of weight on in the beginning because I wanna show you what I mean when I say full range of motion and what's the proper way of doing it. But then we're gonna add plates and hopefully the machine doesn't collapse on our head. Let's go. So just did a warm-up set with 50 kilos on the legs. Now we have 100 kilos on the legs, plus the legs. They're usually around 40 to 60 kilos, depending on the legs. But the point that I'm trying to make here is very, very important, because I really do believe a lot of people are not using this machine to its full potential. And its full potential is actually quite good here, if you're doing it properly. So, again, this is like the second warm-up set. I'm not even warm enough to go as deep as I want. And I can feel it on the way down, but it's besides the point. I just want to show you what this looks like. So, a lot of people on the leg press, what they do is this, right? That's supposed to be like a full rep. Look at it. It stops here, and then you go up. Stops here, and then you go up. That's not a full rep on the leg press. A full rep, a full range of motion rep, to be more specific, looks like this. See? And you may be asking, why do I need to do this? Well, because that's the full range of motion. I physically can't go below this, right? So look at the difference. A lot of people do this. I used to do it too when I started, by the way, right? They do this. But the full range of motion should be something like this. And you have to bear in mind, I have tried to do this. I have been doing this for so long. I can stay on this position for minutes with 160 kilos on top. And that's fine. It feels almost therapeutic to me. But that's what you should do. You should be stretching your muscles to the most extent so they can grow to the most extent. That's kind of like how hypertrophy works. But a lot of people are not doing this. That's why the leg press is not growing as much muscle as other exercises, although it's a very good machine, a very good exercise to do if you are doing it properly. If you're gonna do this shit here, forget it. It's just not gonna cut it. But today though, I have to say today, we're ego lifting, remember? So I'm gonna have to put more weight on. And I'm worrying about this machine because it's not the most stable machine. In this side, there's actually no weight on this side. On the rack, as you can see, all the weight is on this side. So this becomes stable only once you lift it off. It's gonna be fun, but I'm gonna increase the weight. I'm gonna put the 220s on this side and 220s on the other side. So we're gonna have approximately around 220 to 240. 220 kilos to 240 kilos. And then I want to go obviously heavier. So we'll see by how much. But we'll get to that because obviously today we're ego lifting. We're doing the reps. Not the proper reps, the other reps, the half reps, what I like to call them. And yeah, we'll see how much we can actually lift. But it'll be fun. Not as effective, but fun. We're going for fun this week, remember? So let's see. So we're going to start the first set. Hopefully you can see how ridiculous this looks. I have 225s aside, 220s aside, and 215s aside. If I am going to do the math, I'll probably need a calculator because I can't be bothered, but... So we have 240 kilos, 240 kilos on, plus the leads, so it's around 280 to 300. Again, this is not how you're supposed to do it. Like, I don't want you guys to see this and be like, oh, he's lifting a lot of weight and he's doing it this way, so I should be doing it this way. You shouldn't be doing it this way. If this is ego lifting at its finest, and especially with the leg press, it's one of the machines that people can easily load. It makes you feel strong, but you're not really. So I'm not trying to, insult anybody or anything like that, but I'm just saying, how much weight you can move on the leg press, especially if you're not going to go all the way down, has nothing to do with how strong you are. It really translates to approximately zero. It's not strength, it's leverages, and you're able to lift a lot of weight, but it's, like if you can lift 300 kilos here for 10 reps, explain to me why you can't even do 150 on a free weight squat. Half the weight, 150 kilos for 10 reps. Back squats, free weight back squats, that's a lot of weight. That's like very good numbers, like really good numbers. So why can you do 300 here for 10 and not 150 there for 10? It doesn't translate to strength, you know what I'm saying? You need to be doing the leg press, you need to be using it for what it's meant for, and you need to be going all the way down, and then you're gonna find out that even 100 kilos total, including this, is quite a lot actually for what you want to do. Let's do the first set. I don't know if I can go heavy. Well, I could go heavier, but I want to do reps too, so I don't really want to go that heavy. I don't want to do 6 reps. I want to be a bit above that. But you'll see the range of motion how it is. It's still good for what most people do, but it's not really for hypertrophy, right? So let's do the first set and go from there. Yeah. I mean, it's too easy. It's too easy. You hear me breathe in and out quite quickly because I still want to move the weight quite efficiently. But it's not a difficult exercise if you're doing it like this. Especially if you take into account how much actual weight we have on there versus what we usually do. Like, I think this was more cardio than quads because my quads, honestly, they feel fine. I can certainly feel some lactic acid, but they feel fine. I can go again. So, I'm just gonna catch my breath. I'm actually gonna put 10 more kilos on the side, so 20 total. And yeah, do the next set. Second set. So I didn't just add 10s, 20, 10 and 10. I had 14 total, so 2 10s aside. I was just like, I know I can do it. I am worrying a little bit about the integrity of the machine, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll find out, I guess. It's kind of like one of these things. What's the worst thing that can happen? I just did the math on my phone. We have about 300 and... Where's my phone? What the fuck? One sec. We have about... 320 to 340 kilos. So on the leads, we have 280 kilos, right? So plus the leads, again, usually around 40 to 60 kilos. We have 320 to 340. And this shit is easy. I'm not trying to, do it for the show. I'm telling you, this shit is easy. And you can see how easy it moves too, compared to what we usually do. And here, guys, honestly, here, we usually have like 100 kilo on. And that's a very good amount for what we usually do. You've seen the videos. I crawl out of the machine sometimes. I literally crawl out of the seat because I can't move my quads. Here, I'm a little bit out of breath. That's about it. So yeah, training like an ego lifter makes you feel like a man. It really does, because you move a lot of weight. Right? This is a lot of weight. Like I can see the plates coming off from its side, and it's a lot. It feels good, but it's only like for the spirit. It's not really doing anything for, in terms of size and hypertrophy, unfortunately. Not, it does, but not as much as proper hypertrophy training with full ranges of motion, control on the eccentric, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. So let's do the second set. Also, the fact that I just put 20 kilos aside, so 40 kilos in total, on the second set is such an ego lifter thing, because usually you do the heavy sets on the beginning, and then you go from there. But if you're an ego lifter and stuff feel good, you can do the first set, and then the second set can be heavier, which makes no sense. You shouldn't do it like that, but, you know, especially by that much, right? I mean, it's fine if you want to put 5 kilos on a leg press, add 5 kilos on a leg press, but if we're talking 40 kilos, that's quite a lot. Anyway, let's do the second set. Good, we're good, we're good. That was a bit more like it, but still, it's not. Again, you've seen me on this machine. I usually crawl out of the seat. I'm not doing that now, because it's really not that bad. I am running a bit out of breath, but never mind. Alright guys, I want to show you something before I move on. So I added another 10 kilos aside, but as you can see, this is gonna get it. This is not gonna be good. So to avoid this shit, I'm gonna put the last 10 kilos that the gym has back, because I'm not gonna do it. So this is how stupid this looks. I want to say this because it's important. I understand the appeal. I really do. It's good to be moving that much weight. It feels very good. But this is magnitude of stupid that you shouldn't really be attempting. And again, it's not. If it was going to give you the results that you were looking for, then by all means you should do it. But we're doing half reps. We're asking the reps. We're increasing the chances of injury by a tiny bit, but still we do increase those chances. And why take the chances if you can just do it safely and more effectively? Makes no sense. Again, for the purpose of the video, for the purpose of the week, we're ego lifting, so we're gonna have to move this once again. I have no idea how many reps I did before. I would say about 8, 9, 10, something like that, which is obviously a lot, but hey ho. So we're gonna start the second set now and go from there. One more for 10. We're good. That seems good. Alright, so last exercise of the day, leg extensions. Usually, I'm pretty sure I put around 20 to 25 kilos here. Now we have 25 plus 15, 40 kilos aside. It's deceivingly difficult, this machine, especially when it comes to the weight that you put on. It's deceivingly difficult because you can do 20 kilos like a plate aside and it feels quite heavy. I think it's just because of the leverages and the way you sit down. Now I will say, I just did a very quick warm-up. I think it was a test set more than anything else. The problem here is not really the weight, it's this. I don't know how visible it is on the camera, but essentially the pad has moved down and that has exposed the wood under the seat. And when you lift very heavy, because obviously there's a lot of pressure here, the wood kind of like, it almost stops the blood flow. If you believe it or not, it actually does. Because if you think about it, the pressure really doesn't go anywhere. It just stays there. It's kind of like a very bad spot for it to stay. It's very uncomfortable, but it is what it is. We're gonna try and do the set. I usually have around 20 to 25 kilos aside. So now adding more weight only makes this worse. It's one of them time. Let's do the first set and see how it goes. And then maybe we do something about it, but I can't think of anything, to be honest with you. Maybe if I grab a mat from downstairs, but still, it's too much for no good reason. It is just stupid anyways. So again, ego lifting style, we're just gonna move the weight as fast as possible, not really giving a fuck about the eccentric usual stuff, you know, just for the sake of moving the weight. Again, after that leg press, I gotta say the only thing that tired me out on this was just the grunting. My quads are like, did we really do anything there? I'm not even joking about this. It's like, it almost feels like the first set, working set after the warm up. That's how I feel now, which is crazy because we've done hamstrings and we've done 3 sets of very heavy leg press, 4 reps, right? But it's just my quads are like, what about it? If we were to move the weight that we usually move, I don't even know. I don't even know how many reps we could have done. We probably could have done 50, I reckon. 50 might be a little bit too much to be honest. No, actually no, because I've done 20, 24, 26 before, but with proper range of motion. So if I was to put 100 on the leads plus the leads, let's call it 140 for argument's sake. 140 half reps for about 50 reps. Yeah, I could probably do that, which is crazy. But this is kind of like how you should be looking at it, right? You need to be making the workouts as effective as possible, not as heavy as possible. You're looking for, you're looking to put size on, not strength, and you're definitely not looking to impress anybody. It's not really like leg press is just, it's impressive for people who don't know. People who do know, they look at this and they go, yeah, I mean, you put a lot of weight, but it's leg press, and you're not even doing it all the way down. You're not even utilizing the machine to its full potential. You're just half-assing the reps. So it's like, yeah, you have a lot of weight, but so, yeah, it's kind of like one of them. Anyway, let's do the first set here and see how bad that's gonna feel on the back of our legs. But let's do it. Oh, it wasn't as bad as I expected, to be honest. It wasn't as bad. That's fine then. 2 more and then we call it a day. There is something to be said about lifting very heavy on the leg extensions, because I feel my quads now. It's definitely, it definitely does something based on my quads, based on how they feel now, lifting very heavy and very quickly. But I'd still prefer training properly if I'm honest. Anyway, let's do the last set. Whew. Right, so we're done for the day. I have to say this, it's definitely more enjoyable because although I'm grunting quite a lot and there's a lot of nervous system usage, and I know fully well that this is not as effective for hypertrophy, but it's fun to move that weight. I don't know how else to say this. There's something about it, but if you're doing full stacks or if you're just maxing out the space on the machines and you literally can't put any more weight on, not here obviously, but on the other machines, yeah, there's something to be said about this. It's a nice feeling, but again, it just comes down to what you want to do, and it comes down to your own personal preferences and goals. If your goal is size, training like this is going to get you some size, it's going to get you some strength. It's not going to get you either of those to the max level, if this makes sense. You can't optimize for size and strength at the same time. Only beginners can really get away with it, and even then, there is an argument to be made, which is like, why spend energy and resources and time training for strength if you only care about size? Because the thing is, the bigger you get, muscle-wise, the more strength you have. They're very close correlated, these two, right? Strength and size. But you can optimize for one or the other. And if you want to optimize for hypertrophy, for size, you need to reduce the weight, you need to isolate your muscles, and you need to do everything in your power to minimize the energy expenditure on recovery, on CNS, so your central nervous system, the muscles themselves, and then it comes down to lifestyle as well. So if you want to work, if you are working all the time and your job is quite physical, you need to take that into account. Your training needs to be matching your lifestyle, right? You can't train 7 days a week, every week, month after month, and expect to see results, especially if you have a physical job. And, you know, on top of that, if you are gonna lift for size and strength at the same time, it's just gonna be too much. You only have like a finite amount of resources and time for your body to recover. You can't just throw everything at it and expect it to perform. But yeah, I mean, look, I enjoy this. I really enjoyed these 3 days. I don't know if I'm gonna come in tomorrow and do shoulders and arms, ego lifting style, or the day after, take a break and then come back. Because as I said, these days, they put a lot of mind pressure, like nervous wise. They just require a lot of grounding. And that obviously adds up to the recovery aspect of it. So yeah, it's just something that you're gonna have to make sure you do it properly for maximal optimization and results. That's down to each person individually, right? So we're gonna wrap this up today. It was pretty fun. I'm glad no machines broke. I'm glad I'm safe. But yeah, it was pretty fun. Every now and again doing this is just, it's good for the soul. I'm telling you. I know fully well it's not, you know, optimal training or even the right kind of training, but it feels good. So I'll go for good every now and again. But yeah, I'm going to see you next time with some arms and some delts. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what we can do for delts, because I don't know how much I can shoulder press now, free weights. So it's going to be interesting. And I had a very interesting exercise that I used to do back in the day, which is concentric only. And again, that will allow me to lift more. So essentially, you sit down on the bench is upright. You take it's free weight, right? So you have the barbell, just a typical barbell. And then you put safeties on the squat rack. So the bar literally sits around here. So the only thing that you have to do is lift it up and then kind of like drop it on the safety bars. It's an interesting exercise because I could always move a lot of weight. I just don't know how much weight I'm going to be able to move now. I'm expecting it to be around 80 kilos, 80 to 90 kilos, 4 reps, by the way. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to really jump the gun. But yeah, we're going to talk next time with some delts and some arms. Until then, boys and girls, peace, and I am out.